But hey, speaking of drafts,
Oh yeah, we're the
we
sharers of a fantasy football team.
we are we're trying to figure out what people would want to hear about less than our fantasy football team.
Nobody likes
And we
hearing
couldn't
about.
come up with it.
Yeah, you would probably rather hear a little girl read her poems.
Yeah, which is what we have on deck for next week.
Yeah. Actually, that
We
would
have
be
our
far
special
better.
guest.
Yeah.
That would be
And if
so
we
much
gave
better.
honest critiques.
That would probably sweep the internet if we just gave honest critiques of children's poems.
Yeah. Didn't they do that like
God.
American Idol for kids? And they'd be like, "You suck, kid."
I don't know. Was that a sketch, or do you think it really happened?
No. There was like a junior American Idol, wasn't there? It was like
Well,
just
like
little
some
kids.
of the people on American Idol are only allowed to be so old.
They were adults.
Barely. Like you can't be over 30,
I mean, what's
right?
barely? I think they were all. I figure everybody in. Yeah, you're like early 20s. That's when singers become famous.
There's a very easy Leonardo DiCaprio joke here, and I'm not doing it because I'm sick of it on Twitter.
What are you talking about? Well, how could you get a very easy Leonardo DiCaprio joke?
About young people?
Yeah.
Like everything yesterday was September 11th is now 21. So it can drink, but it's not. So it was like Leonardo. It was all about Leonardo DiCaprio dating September 11th.
That's not an easy joke. In fact, I don't even think you completed it.
I didn't. Other people did in various ways.
Yeah. Okay.
But we have a fantasy football team.
Yeah, I would think you would make, and then in 4 years it can rent a car.
Yeah.
Right? And then what happened? I don't even know if there's no age milestones after 25, really.
No,
AARP card.
Downhill.
Medicare.
Well, 35 September 11th can run for president.
Oh yeah, run for president. Yeah.
And it would not be
as long as you're not a dirty foreigner.
I like least.
Yeah.
No, one thing about September 11th, it's very American.
Yeah, it never became a holiday. That's right.
You wouldn't think. The tragedies don't usually become holidays. Like December 7th never became a holiday. You commemorate it, but
I never thought about
Arbor Day never. Yeah. No, they're there. You remember how sad they were.
Well, I suppose Memorial Day is celebrating the end of World War One, right?
Is that on the anniversary of the end of World War One? I know it's to commemorate fallen soldiers.
Yeah, isn't it? It's in November, right? When the hell is Memorial Day?
No, Memorial Day is in the spring.
Oh, okay. Then I was wrong about that for a long time. I always thought that's fine. I mean, my life has been fine as a result. If you got to be wrong about something, it might as well be a day off.
You know, we haven't done a podcast in a while, and I'm proud to say we're right back in classic Mike and Dan form. At least 7 minutes of meandering and going nowhere.
Yeah. Well, I would call that just a first brush. You know what I mean? The first draft.
Except that we publish it.
You know what I feel like? Sometimes if you're doing like audio books now, you don't even read the book. You just make all the sounds. And then they just kind of fill it in. So I feel like that's what we're doing, is we're getting all the words we can say. And then, good editors will just kind of mishmash a podcast out of it.
Like Paul.
Yeah, Paul gets it. He seems to get the reference.
He pieces this together.
Yeah.
So you're saying in audiobooks they're putting together sounds, or they're just saying every word? And
what you'll do is, I think it's a lot of the case if you filmed a whole thing and they're like, hey, we only need a couple more things. So instead of reading this whole script, just kind of go, ugh. And then they'll be like, yeah, that's all we needed.
There was a section where you needed ooh.
If you make enough consonants and vowels together with computers, you can kind of just make a person's voice, I think.
I guess. I don't know if we're at that level of technology.
Yeah, we are. I'm telling you, we are. That even I know this. They do
What
this.
book was made
This is done. This is a thing that's
I
done.
don't think it's done. Like
It's fucking
I
done.
wasn't sure if you were serious. It's
Paul,
not
is
done.
it done? It's definitely done.
So there are books that have been pieced together just from people making noises.
Not whole
long
books,
enough.
but they only need.
That's more time efficient than just having somebody read the book.
Oh, far more, I think.
Paul, what book was made this way?
It's not so much books. They have a piece with Joe. They have a piece with Joe Rogan where they've pieced a full Joe Rogan conversation together with just words and sounds that he said before.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in the future, they'll be able to do it with.
And they could easily do
Rogan
it. They
is
could
not a
easily
book.
do a book. They could easily do a book right now if they wanted to.
Yeah.
But it's just a.
But it hasn't been done. So you guys are speculating that it could be done.
I bet it's been.
No, it has been. I'm telling you, it's been fucking done because I didn't even know that thing. But I knew about it before. It's not like a whole audiobook will be put together. They only need X number of consonants, and you can finish this. It's almost like when, remember they shot The Crow?
Yeah.
Brandon Lee? They're like, yeah, we got enough. We can kind of edit the rest of this together. We don't even fucking need them.
It's different from putting together a whole book from noises. I mean, he had shot almost everything, and then they had a body double in there.
There's some joke to be made about how The Crow is the prequel to that Alec Baldwin movie. What's that movie called?
Rust.
The Crow is the prequel to Rust.
Right.
Because both stars were shot. Although it wasn't the star of Rust.
It was not. It was the cinematographer of Rust. The star did the shooting this time. So it's really The Crow's revenge.
It's a revenge movie. Yeah. Is that movie ever going to come out?
I know they're not finishing that movie.
I thought these movies. That's a real bath they took on that.
Yeah, you could
got to
say
at least try to make your money back.
Well, maybe they'll do like the Warner Brothers with Batman and just write it off. They'll just say, you know what, we'd rather have the tax write-off or Batgirl.
Well, I thought they did one with Halle Berry.
That was Catwoman.
Ah.
Yeah.
No cape, I forgot. No cape on Halle.
Right.
That's really the only difference between Batwoman and Catgirl.
Did you hear about Batgirl? Not Catgirl, Batgirl.
No. And it's very clear we don't go to the same websites. Apparently. You don't know about the things I know about.
That website where you go on and make things up. No, I'm familiar
between the two of us, we're very wrong men.
No, Batgirl, they filmed Batgirl and Warner Brothers announced that they weren't going to release it. And they were just going to write it off. They're like, yeah, we ended up deciding we're not going to do this because Discovery bought HBO.
Because it was that bad?
People actually said they liked it and they just decided they didn't think they were going to make it. So HBO Max was making a lot of stuff that was just for HBO Max. And then the people who bought HBO said, you know what? We don't want to do that. We want to release everything in the theaters. And we don't think this is big enough to release. And so there you go. And the conspiracy theory is they just decided they didn't think that this movie that had a female lead was going to make enough money. And so they decided they wanted to take the tax write-off instead because they
was this around the time like female Ghostbusters didn't work out?
This is like 3 months ago. This got announced. Female Ghostbusters was 16.
But do you think on the back of like things like that not working?
It doesn't seem to make a lot of sense just because, Captain Marvel made a fortune.
Yeah, and I was the best
movie.
action movie I can remember is that Mad Max movie, and that was a female.
Yeah, Charlize Theron. Fury Road.
Yeah, that movie's awesome.
Yeah. People in Hollywood are stupid, and they just don't know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah, but it's also, enough with the superhero shit. Enough. It's enough.
It's a lot.
I'd say a 10-year moratorium on superhero movies.
Well, you've got the power to make that happen.
Yeah. I don't know what they're to be replaced with. That's the problem. Yeah. What do you replace them with?
We actually talked about this yesterday, how we should do Mondays so that we can cover all the football content. And you can see.
I didn't get around to watching any.
We are really delving into all the football content.
I mean, yeah.
Did you see
I
a
don't
game
even
other
know.
than the Patriots game?
I watched the whole thing.
No, other than the Patriots game.
A lot of the 4:00 game.
Okay.
And then, a good bit of the Brady thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, it seems like 6 teams can win.
Yeah.
And then we're not one of them.
No.
Nor will we ever be again.
It's gonna be a while.
Belichick needs to go to the front office because by the time they're good again, he will be dead.
It feels bad saying it, but he's done.
I mean, he's probably let him coach the Kansas City Chiefs, that'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah, because his kids wouldn't be on the coaching staff.
No, because his quarterback wouldn't be.
And that would help.
Yeah.
Mac Jones is a good quarterback. Now he was number 2 all time for rookie quarterbacks last year. He's a talented guy. He's got nobody to throw
like that
to.
Suck though, because it has to be somebody from the last 10 years.
Okay, but how many great quarterbacks have come out in the last 10 years? A ton. So it's still pretty impressive.
But it becomes, you hear of all time, and then you're like, oh, more than fucking Steve Young or whoever the hell. But they didn't throw the ball as much back then. So it's of the last 10 years.
Okay, but just
still,
being able to do that in the last 10 years is still impressive.
But still,
Mac Jones is a good quarterback.
Ended way worse than it started. Way worse. It started out kind of okay, and then he was good for a hot minute, and then kind of returned to the he's not that good mean.
So you're not sold on Mac Jones?
No.
Wow. I'm on board. I just think the poor guy needs a coach.
Nah.
Matt Patricia, who got run out of Detroit like he was Frankenstein's monster, is now coaching offense in the offensive line.
That's because it's Detroit.
He's never done it before.
Detroit will never be good. It can't happen.
Detroit has been good.
Left Detroit. A quarterback left Detroit and immediately won the Super Bowl. It's like the Minnesota Timberwolves. Some places just aren't meant to have things.
Okay, but that doesn't mean Mac Jones is not potentially a good quarterback. And the fact that Matt Patricia has Detroit stink on him should disqualify him. He was a defensive coordinator.
That's almost like, I got a cousin that's a plumber. He also knows how to be a carpenter. It's not that absurd that a guy that's worked with football his whole life on defense knows a little bit about offense too.
There is a chance, but if I'm hiring an electrician and I'm doing it for the most important house, I'm not going to say, but you know what? This plumber knows a little bit about electricity. Let's get the plumber.
Who's this? Why are we assuming he knows a little bit? He might.
Because he's.
If you found out Bill Belichick fucking was calling the plays on offense, you'd be like, oh, we're paying extra attention to the offense. Like it's. Yeah. I just don't think it's
hire an
offensive
he was a head coach to be the offensive coordinator.
One organization said he's good enough. I'll let you run the show, and that didn't quite work out.
It was a disaster.
Yeah, but another team was like, I'll give you the fucking full run of it. And we're saying, hey, guy, just the offense.
This never happens. That somebody gets hired from a former defensive coordinator gets hired to be an offensive coordinator. This never happens. It's looked awful all preseason. He had a terrible reputation in Detroit, and somehow you're defending the
Detroit
decision
has
to
a
make him the
terrible
offensive
reputation
coordinator?
in Detroit. Detroit, when was the last time the Detroit Lions won a playoff game?
Detroit's bad, but he was just terrible in his last
Detroit's not
job.
bad. Detroit is like basically if you said like the next government in Venezuela has to kill it.
All right. So you think Matt Patricia is a good hire? He's doing a good job.
I don't think he's the problem. In fact, I know he's not the problem.
So the quarterback who was great last year is the problem, not the guy who
you just said great. We just said by the end of the year he wasn't good.
The team wasn't good for the last couple of games. Mac Jones was still pretty good the last couple of games. We couldn't stop anybody the last few games. Our defense went to shit.
We're not good. That's what I'm saying. We're not good, and we never will be again.
Okay. So is the argument that we should get rid of Belichick?
Not because
He's got
bad.
two of his sons. He's got two of his sons on the staff. He refuses to name any coordinators. His drafts have been terrible. Is there any possibility that maybe he's the problem?
He's starting to act a little like kind of Caribbean dictator-y.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. We might as well have the Suns run it. We want to almost be so bad that we get the next quarterback. The worst thing you can do is win like 6 games.
We have the next quarterback. That is the fundamental disagreement.
No, we don't.
You're hoping for Mac Jones. You lucked into Mac Jones.
No.
Yes.
I don't feel I've lucked into anything.
We are very lucky to have Mac Jones.
That's almost
we're gonna get the guy killed.
That would be like if I won a year's supply of half moons as a fucking diabetic, and they're like, "Oh, congrats on all these free half moons." I'm like, "You're killing me."
That's not
here.
the analogy.
It's actually a perfect analogy. Maybe not for this,
the
but for
analogy
something else.
would be when as a diabetic, what I really wanted was Hershey bars.
Almost
still saying you
in
want another
my
quarterback.
tanking theory, if by killing myself I could not have diabetes anymore, then yes.
I have no idea where we're at right now.
Trying to get the first draft pick in the prosthetics.
In the prosthetics?
Well, as a diabetic, you cut your foot off, so you get. But if you do it really quick, if you get the first one, then you get the first leg. As I understand.
So, is there like
you don't want to be
Lawrence
so,
of legs
you don't
out
want
there that you really
It's
want?
almost like you don't want to win 6 games. You don't want to be so healthy as a diabetic that you get the last shitty prosthetic that was left.
You don't want the peg leg.
You want the first pick in the draft.
I get you. Honestly, that's the most sense I feel like you've made so far.
No,
I'm completely on board with you now.
Your
I'm
hope for
completely
Mac
on board with
Jones.
the prosthetic
Your
leg
hope for,
draft.
do you think Mac Jones can be a top 7 quarterback in the NFL?
Potentially, yeah.
Well, because I was going to say if you don't have the top 5, you're kind of a little fucked.
Yeah.
Right?
But then I think you can win with a top 10 guy.
When was the last team to win with a top 10 guy?
I think Stafford was not a top 5 guy.
I think he's probably in the lower half of the 5. And 5, that's why I said 7, is you can kind of sneak your way into the 5 at a given point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Mac Jones will ever be as highly thought of as Matt Stafford was thought of last year. They gave up a lot to get him, didn't they?
I mean, not as much as people made it sound, because they gave up 2 first-round picks and they gave Jared Goff, but they wanted to get off that contract. So one of the picks was for Stafford and the other pick was for taking Jared Goff.
Do you think Mac Jones will ever get to the point where he's traded for 2 first-round picks?
Someone would give you 2 first-round picks for him tomorrow. If you made Mac Jones available, multiple teams would give you 2 first-rounders for him. Absolutely.
Well, he's also way younger than Stafford.
Yes.
But I don't think he's ever going to be as good as Matt Stafford.
Okay.
And
But
if you don't have
that
that guy, then you end up in the Jay Cutler situation, a type 1 diabetic, by the way. You end up in the Jay Cutler situation where you have to pay the 10th best quarterback in the league like he's the 5th best quarterback in the league. And that is a disaster.
Jay quarterback was never even a top 15 quarterback in the league.
But he got paid like he was.
He did.
That's the problem.
He did.
Is you don't want your shitty, oh my God, Dak Prescott. You're paying Dak Prescott like he's a top 5 guy. He is not a top 5 guy.
He's not. The greatest job in the world is to be the Cowboys quarterback, because they're always going to act like you're better than you are.
Everybody's quarterback, they act like he's better than you are.
But they don't overpay them like they do in Dallas. I mean, Tony Romo got paid like he was a top 5 guy. He was never a top 5 guy.
Tony Romo would
Prescott's getting paid like
Tony
a top 5
Romo
guy.
at times would sneak into the top 5. Tony Romo was better than Dak Prescott.
He was never a top 5 quarterback, ever, ever, ever. Think about the era he played in. He was never in the top 5.
I said he would sneak into it.
All right. You know who does have a top 5 quarterback? Our fantasy football team.
Oh, Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. Everyone thought we overpaid. We dominated week 1.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh no, we overpaid. We overpaid by a lot.
No.
But I'm happy to have him. I know who he is.
I'm very
There's so
happy.
few people who I know who they are.
That is fun to have somebody that you know and root for. And yeah, there weren't a lot of opportunities for that.
Yep. And it's great that Buffalo has a thing.
It is nice for Buffalo. I'm happy for them.
It's kind of amazing when you think about it. That in basketball, if somebody got drafted by Buffalo, they'd be like, fuck you. I'd rather play in Spain. Like, get me out of here.
Spain's nice.
That's what I mean. I'd rather play in Spain than the NBA's Buffalo franchise. Like, probably not. But you know what I mean? Like, people force their way out of markets.
What is the Buffalo of the NBA? Is it Sacramento or Oklahoma?
Oklahoma. Definitely Oklahoma. Because there's tornadoes.
Sacramento's still warmer, yeah. Like Sacramento doesn't get snow. It doesn't get that cold.
Does Oklahoma get snow?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought Oklahoma City was like near Texas.
Texas is huge. I mean, if you're southern Texas, you probably aren't getting much snow, but Oklahoma City gets snow.
I don't know about that. They get tornadoes.
Right.
You shouldn't live in a place that gets tornadoes and snow. That's bullshit.
No. Yeah. Well, Kansas definitely gets tornadoes and snow.
I didn't know. Again, I don't think of snow when I think of Kansas.
They get it.
I think of John Brown is what I think of.
I want to live in the tropical southern paradise of Oklahoma City that you're fantasizing about, where they get no snow.
I imagine it being very dusty.
Yeah.
And who else? Oh, the Flaming Lips. They're from there.
Are they from Oklahoma?
They are. Yeah.
All right.
I read the first half of that book, Boomtown, about the Oklahoma.
I just started that.
Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, I just started Boomtown.
Yeah, it didn't pique my interest.
I enjoyed the introduction in the first chapter. All the stuff about the guy who killed Jesse James. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, that was good. But then once they got into it, was I remember watching a lot of these games. And I just couldn't get into it.
So is it mostly about the team, or is it mostly about Oklahoma City?
There was a long chapter about a weatherman. I could have done without that. But there, I mean, weather's a big fucking deal. Tornadoes come up and fucking scoop up babies.
Yeah, I got your book, by the way.
The coyote of the sky, they call it.
Mm-hmm. I got your book. I need to give you a book next time we see you.
Oh, the blooper one?
No. What, blooper?
Didn't you get me? You got me someone that I wasn't terribly interested in.
I was going to get you Ball 4.
No.
Which is one of the great sports books of all time.
Yeah, no baseball.
Oh, I got you another baseball book.
Fuck. All right. I can't wait.
All right, you don't have to have it. I won't give it to you.
I finally gave you your book. Did you start it?
No.
Damn it.
The worst thing for a friendship is for one friend to give the other friend a book. Luckily, this is just a bet.
Yeah.
But as soon as you give another friend a book, there's an immediate tension put on the friendship.
Mm-hmm.
Because every time we see each other, have you started the book yet? What did you think of the book? And you just have to avoid that friend.
If you told somebody you like a song on the radio, like you ever hear this song and then you got to like sit and listen to it and feel like you got to review it.
Yeah, but at least that's over in 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Unless it's Stairway to Heaven.
And I can't remember it happening in the past 20 years.
That's true. Yeah, you really aged yourself there. You know, and then you ever been listening to the phonograph? And then you gotta put the needle up and you gotta put it back down again for your pal who's over on vacation from Korea. You know.
Yep. No, you're right. I was wrong.
Paul, pull that. Pull that quote.
Yep. So
All right,
that's
so we won our first fantasy week, and it was very exciting.
Yeah. Do you have any football feelings? What do you think about the game tonight? Do you think that the Russell Wilson will matter?
I think Denver's going to kill Seattle. I'm honestly, as bad as Monday Night Football has been, I'm surprised they put this game on.
Yeah, Seattle awful.
They're starting Geno Smith. I mean, who hasn't started a game in forever?
Oh wow, the Jets from the Jets.
Yeah, from the Jets. Seattle is starting Geno Smith.
That was a long time ago.
They kept thinking someone was going to become available, and they never did. They thought they were going to get Garoppolo, and they didn't, because Trey Lance was so bad they had to keep Garoppolo.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think Denver is going to destroy Seattle tonight.
Wow. It's amazing that there's only like 6 good quarterbacks. It feels like there's fewer than there used to be.
There's way more than 6 good quarterbacks. There's a ton of good quarterbacks. They're just not playing tonight.
And they don't play for us.
Right. We have one very good quarterback.
He's not good.
Very good quarterback.
No.
But honestly, right now it's a quarterback-rich league.
That play yesterday when we got the fumble from behind, they hit us from behind, and then he fumbled the ball, and then they got a touchdown. They weren't on offense, but they got a touchdown.
Yep.
That was bad.
What are you talking?
That was super, super disruptive to winning.
It didn't feel good, but I mean, that play happens sometimes where a quarterback gets slammed in the back and can't.
I don't remember Tom Brady doing that too many times. So I want to know, you know how like fucking Manning and Brady, when they're behind the line, they're like, fucking that guy over there. And they're like fucking pointing. Yeah. It doesn't feel like this guy's doing any of that shit.
He's doing all that shit.
Well, he was wrong that time.
He's checking down.
He fucking.
I mean, at some point, you need one of those huge guys in front of you to actually block one of the defensive lines.
Yeah, but somebody's got to tell that idiot where to go. Like, that's what Brady...
The guy in front of him. That guy just got beat.
I mean, no. Nobody was near him. The guy was unimpeded the whole time, and you can't fumble and then have the other team get a touchdown. You'll lose every time.
You know what? I think maybe you should be the defensive coordinator.
So, I mean, but
that's the kind of logic that more of these teams need.
I mean, it was very clear from that moment on that we stink.
Well, we're going to be very bad this year.
Yeah.
Not because of Mac. But Mac Jones is good. He has a terrible offensive line. He has nobody to throw the ball to, but Mac Jones is good.
So we're not good, but the only guy who touches the ball every play is really good. How is that possible?
I mean, Peyton Manning was very good. He won 3 games his first year. Because he had a bad team around him.
This is his second year.
This is his second year. Plenty of quarterbacks have been bad on bad teams.
Yeah.
He's going to be fine. Mac Jones is going to be just fine. I mean, unless he just gets destroyed by being on a terrible team. That is possible.
I don't know. I just watched the guy throw the fucking ball. There's something about him I don't like.
I understand. I get that you think he has a punchable face, and I can potentially get on board with that.
I think he's got a very low ceiling.
I mean, there is an argument that he's been like at a top-level college program, and he's been, coached for all of his life, and maybe he doesn't have the upside of someone with more raw potential like a Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think Mac Jones has shown enough that he is going to potentially be the quarterback of the future. He's at least getting 5 years on this team. There's no way he's not getting the next, barring a catastrophic injury. He's at least playing out his full rookie contract. So embrace the Mac Jones era because it's 5 years long.
Wow.
Minimum.
You want to make a long-term bet?
What's the bet?
5 years from today, he won't be the quarterback of the New England Patriots.
Well, no, because he's already played more than a year. So I'm saying he's going to play out his rookie contract at least. He's going to be here for the entirety of his rookie contract. If you tell me he's gone before his rookie contract is up, I would take that bet.
So, like, we could trade him for a fucking...
If he gets traded before the end of his rookie contract, yes, you would win that bet.
Yeah, you just have such shitty gift ideas.
I'm sorry. Not a huge, amazing book like the $4 bargain basement book about the Celtics that I got as my prize.
First of all, that thing cost $26.
That absolutely did not cost $26.
Might not have been 26, but it was 20.
No, there was no 2 before that book. Nope. That was a single digit book. I guarantee you.
Certainly was. Because it's almost out of print.
Yes.
They
that was
sold
where
out
did you
of
get that book from?
They don't even
where did
sell
you
out
get
of the
that book?
Bible.
Where did you get that book?
Amazon.com.
How much? Show me the receipt for that book. If
I'm
you
gonna
show me the
stop
receipt
the
where
flow
you
of the
paid
show to
more
fucking
than
go through.
$10, anytime, if you showed me that you paid more than $10 for that book, I will
definitely
eat from.
did, because it was a $25 bet, wasn't it?
No, it was a book bet. We just said book. And I'm not harp on the fact you're just talking about how great the book is that you have shown. You don't have to stop the show. Before the next podcast, just show me that you paid more than $10 for that book.
I fucking did.
I will eat my
definitely
words.
did.
I will eat my words.
Now you're calling me cheap.
I'm simply pointing out you keep claiming that you spent like $25 on this book, and I'm giving you bad books. I'm giving you classic books. You're saying, nah, I don't want that book. And then you always point out the fact that you got me like a great book.
It is a great book.
I disagree.
You haven't even opened it.
The cover is terrible.
The cover is bad.
Yes. The cover makes me want to not open
It's
that
disinformation.
book.
It's disinformative.
Yeah. That cover makes me feel like a Republican. I'm like, we have too many books.
Like a Republican?
Yeah, we have too many books. We got to ban this.
Did Bill O'Reilly write it? Killing Auerbach?
Yeah, it would be Killing Celtics. Yeah, it would be Killing Bird.
Who's alive? I would like a book about those guys, like a Showtime.
Bill O'Reilly?
No, like a Lakers series about the '80s Celtics.
Bob Ryan wrote a book, like Wish It Lasted Forever.
That's going to be too glad handy.
Yeah.
I want Bird telling his daughter to fuck off, and
any of those books about those '80s teams are glad handy.
Not that, I mean, the '80s TV show made Jerry West look like a drunken Klansman.
Yeah, no, the TV show was a very different animal.
Yeah. So that's what I want, but I want the Celtics.
So you want the TV show?
Yeah.
All right.
It would be hard to find people to play that guy.
Yeah.
I bet Daniel Day-Lewis could play Kevin McHale. Because he played a good Lincoln, and I always thought they had similar frames and looks.
That is true. Yeah, he's got a Lincoln vibe.
Yeah, well, beardless Lincoln.
Mm-hmm. All right. On the note of Daniel Day-Lewis playing Kevin McHale, should we wrap up our return episode?
Sure.
I'm sorry. How much deeper did you want to go? I'm ready.
I don't know. How long have we been talking for?
I think 2.5 hours.
There's no limit anymore. Well, that almost feels more constricting. All
right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything to say.
All right. We are victorious in fantasy. Hopefully, when we come back next week, we're going to be on a 2-0 streak.
You want to make a bet?
Yeah.
I got a bet. WNBA Finals. Has that started
I know nothing
yet?
about the WNBA Finals. Yeah, it started yesterday. I guess I do know a little bit about this.
All right. Fine. All right. Men's U.S. Open.
It's over.
Damn it.
I'll bet you. Yeah. What do you want to bet?
Who won game one?
As long as I get to pick the guy. Yeah, you want to bet on the 2017 World Series?
Foreman's going to kill Ali.
I'll tell you what. I like the Union over the Confederacy. I'll give you great odds.
Well, there is no Confederacy.
There was.
Well, they were actually rebels.
Were they?
Yeah. You never actually listened to Lincoln?
The book or the movie?
Yeah, the book.
I've read a couple of books about Lincoln. What are we talking about? I mean, they were called the Confederate States of America.
They called themselves the Confederate States of America. Lincoln never acknowledged the Confederacy.
No, that is true.
Yeah. So there wasn't, unless you're pro-Confederacy.
Well, I mean, it depends. If you say someone is what they identify as, then they're the Confederacy.
Even if the point of their identity is to want to own slaves?
I'm not saying I agree with them. I'm saying that's what they called themselves.
Look, if they wanted to call themselves all women, I'd be fine with it. But you can't just claim you're a country.
Don't act like me saying that the Confederate States of America was one half of the Civil War is me being pro-slavery, because I was taking the Union side on that bet and you were betting on the South.
No, but we have to stop letting people call it the Confederacy. There wasn't a Confederacy.
Now, a Confederacy just means that they joined together, and whether you agreed with their cause or did not, they were Confederates. I mean, you can have a Confederate of terrible people, and they're still Confederates.
You're advocating for them, I feel.
I am in no way advocating for the South in the Civil War.
Well, then what are you even saying?
I am simply saying that calling them the Confederacy is not being pro-Confederacy.
They tried to call themselves their own country under the auspices that they could keep slaves. Lincoln was saying, you cannot form your own country. It is indissoluble.
Correct.
And you probably shouldn't have slaves, but we'll figure that out later.
Yeah.
People tend to not talk about that as much, but
yeah, that he would have gotten on board in the right deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, on that awkward note, you got any shows to plug, Dan?
I'm doing a show Saturday, but I think it's going to sell out, so don't worry about it.
Okay. Yeah. None of you are necessary.
Don't come. You can't come.
Nope. You wish. You wish you could come. All right. I'm functionally retired, so I have nothing to plug. But hey, come on back next week for Boston Centric. We're going to see if Paul can somehow chop this into a cohesive 30 minutes. And that might be the challenge of a lifetime.
Sorry, I burped.
No, I noticed. It's fine. All right. Bye, everybody.